All right, today we are moving on to 1.4 and 1.5. So I've combined these two lessons because they're very similar and they're all about dividing fractions. Okay, so your I can statement today is I can divide a fraction by another fraction. So by the end of class, you should be able to divide a fraction by another fraction. Okay, dividing fractions is similar to multiplying fractions, okay, except right here I have a graphic, okay? And it says keep, change, flip. That is the key that we use when we divide fractions, okay? So I usually write KCF, okay, which is keep, change, flip, not KFC, very similar, but keep, change, flip, okay? So when you divide fractions, you can see up here, we have 1/2 divided by 1/4, okay? So we keep 1/2 the same, we change our division to multiplication, and then we flip our second fraction to its reciprocal. So remember, its reciprocal is always it flipped. Okay, it's the opposite. So 1/4, opposites 4/1. Okay, so you flip the numerator to the denominator, and then you just multiply like normal. So for this, we would get 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 1 is 2. So we get 4/2, which is 2. Okay, because that's 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Okay, so when you divide fractions, you have to remember keep, change, flip, or KCF, however you want to memorize that. Okay. So in this first example, it says Mr. Roberts has a board that is 3 feet long. He plans to cut the board into pieces that are each 3/4 foot long to build a set of shelves. How many shelves can he make? So you're going to have a few word problems on your homework, and you need to make sure that you are understanding which number goes first. Okay, so we always start with the number that is not necessarily first in the problem, because sometimes the second number will go first. But the number that Mr. Robert is starting with is 3. So his board is 3 feet long. Okay, and then he plans to cut the board into pieces that are each a 3/4 foot long. Okay? So that means we're doing 3 divided by 3/4, just like this, because it's 3/4 pieces. And we want to know how many shelves he can make with the 3 feet long board. First step, okay, our 3, we need to change it to a fraction. So our fraction would be 3/1, okay, because 3 as a fraction is always 3/1, divided by 3/4. Okay. Now that we have our division problem, we need to do our keep, change, flip like we did up here. Okay. So first thing, so if you want to write keep, change, flip, if that'll help you, go for it. Okay. We keep 3/1 the same. We change our division to multiplication, and then we flip our second fraction to its reciprocal, so it's going to be 4/3, just like that. Okay. I teach my students, I call it cross-dividing. Some teachers have called it the butterfly method. But we can see diagonally what we can divide, okay, what we can simplify. And I know I can simplify both of my 3's. Okay? So I can change this 3 and this 3, and I can divide them both by 3, so they cancel out and they just become 1's. Okay? So if I multiplied across now, I would get 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 times 1 is 1 on the bottom, which is just 4. Okay? If the cross-dividing or the butterfly method confuses you, you don't have to do it that way. So if we left it as 3/1 times 4/3, and we just multiplied across like normal, we would get 12 on the top, because 4 times 3 is 12, and 1 times 3 on the bottom, which is 3. Okay, but this is not simplified because our answer should be 4. So we know 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, so if you use this method, it's going to simplify it first, and you most likely won't have to simplify at the end. And if you use this method, you're going to have to simplify at the end. So it's whatever you prefer. I always try and cross-divide first because it makes the number smaller in the end. Okay. All right, on this example, we're going to do the same thing. So we need to change our 6 to a fraction. So it's going to be 6/1 divided by 2/3. Okay. Now we need to keep, change, and flip. So my 6 over 1 is going to stay the same. My division changes to multiplication. And then my 2/3, I'm going to flip it to its reciprocal. So we get 3 over 2. Okay. Can I cross divide anything? Always know that if there's a 1, that's already simplified. You cannot do that. You cannot simplify that any farther. Okay. But I can simplify my 6 and my 2. I can divide my 6 and my 2 both by 2. I know 6 divided by 2 is 3, so that changes to a 3, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now, I'm simplified, so I can multiply across. So on top, I have 3 times 3, which is 9, and 1 times 1 on the bottom, which is 1, and so I just get 9, because 9 over 1 is the same as 9. I just realized on our last one, we forgot to label. Okay, it should be 4 shelves. So I'm going to add that right there. Okay, because it's not feet, it's asking how many shelves can he make, and he can make 4 shelves. Okay, so similar to multiplying, you just have to do keep, change, flip first, and then you multiply across. All right. Next, it says, how much cake will each person get if 3 friends decide to share half a cake equally? Find 1/2 divided by 3. So it already gives you the problem. Okay. So we start with 1/2 because there's half of a cake left. Okay. There's half of a cake. And so we have half of a cake divided, and we're dividing it between 3 friends. So we're trying to figure out how much cake each friend will get. So we do 1/2 divided by 3. Okay. Just like we did on the top 2 examples, okay, I always change my whole number to a fraction first. So we have 1/2 divided by 3 over 1. Okay. Now we can do our keep, change, flip. Okay. My 1/2 stays the same. My division changes to multiplication. And now I flip my second fraction to its reciprocal, so we get 1 over 3. Many students try to go from this, 1/2 divided by 3, to this, and they get confused on whether the 1 or the 3 goes on top. So do not skip this second step right here, okay? Do not just go straight to keep, change, flip when you need to change the fraction first. Next, we just multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 3 is 6. So we get 1/6 because there was nothing to cross divide or do the butterfly method to. And it should be 1/6 of a cake. Okay. And if we look at our picture, okay, it makes sense that the answer is 1/6 because we have a whole cake. We split it in half, and now each friend is going to get a piece like this, which is 1/6 of the total cake. Okay, so you would get this, your friend would get this, and someone else would get that one. Okay, so it'd be 1/6 of the entire cake. All right, next, I want you to try this one on your own. Okay, pause the video, see if you can do it, and then you can see if we got the same answer. So oh my goodness, hold on. Sorry. So we have 2/3 divided by 4. So 2/3 divided by, I need to change my 4 to a fraction. So it's going to be 4 over 1. Okay. Now I do keep, change, flip. I'm going to keep 2/3 to be the same. Change my division to multiplication. And flip my second fraction. So it's 1 over 4. Okay. Can I cross divide anything? Yes, I can. I can cross divide my 2 and my 4. And I can divide them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. When I multiply across, up top, I get 1 times 1, which is 1. 3 times 2 on the bottom, which is 6. Okay. Oh, just like our other example, we got 1 over 6. Okay. This one doesn't need a label because it's not a word problem. Next, we're doing the same thing, except we already have, they're all fractions. There's no whole numbers. So Anne has 3/4 gallon of juice. She wants to pour it into a 1/6 gallon container. How many containers can Anne fill? So she is starting with 3/4 gallon of juice. Okay, so we start with 3/4, and she wants to pour it into 1/6 gallon containers. So we're going to divide by 1/6. We want to know how many containers she can fill. So 3/4 divided by 1/6, do your keep, change, flip. Keep 3/4 the same. Change division to multiplication and flip 1/6 to be 6/1. Now, can I cross divide anything? Yes, I can. I can divide my 4 and my 6 both by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now I can multiply across. Up top, I get 3 times 3, which is 9, and 2 times 1 on the bottom, which is 2. So I get 9/2. Okay. Savvis, I believe, will let you put the answer in as an improper fraction like this, but I want you to get in the habit of changing it to a mixed number. So 9/2, we have to see how many times does 2 go into 9? It goes in 4 times, so that 4 is our whole number, and then we have 1 left over. So we get 4.5. Sorry. Okay. And that is our answer. It should be 4.5 containers. Is our answer. Next, we have 4/5 divided by 3/10. And at any point, if you think you want to try it on your own, go ahead and pause the video and do it. Okay. We have 4/5 divided by 3/10. So it's already laid out for me, so I'm going to keep, change, flip. Keep 4/5 the same, change division to multiplication, and then flip our second fraction, and we get 10/3. Okay. It is important that you always flip the second number, or the second fraction, okay? If you flip the first fraction, you are going to get the wrong answer. Your answer is going to be flipped. Okay? So, I have everything. I did my keep, change, flip. What can I cross divide? I can divide my 5 and my 10 by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Now I can multiply across. And I know 4 times 2 on the top is 8. And 1 times 3 on the bottom is 3. So I get 8/3. Now again, Savvis will let you submit your answer like that. But to get in the habit of changing it to a mixed number, I want you to practice that. So we've got to do 8 divided by 3. So 3 can go into 8 2 times. And 3 times 2 is 6. So we have 2 left over 3. Your denominator always stays the same. So we get 2 2/3. Okay. Last question. So start with your keep, change, flip. And we keep 3/12 the same. So do 3 divided by 12, or 3/12. Change your division to multiplication. And then flip your 1/8 to 8/1. Okay. I can cross divide. So I would have 8 and 12. What can I divide both of those numbers by? Hopefully you said 4, or you were thinking 4, because 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now I can multiply across, and up top I get 3 times 2, which is 6, and 3 times 1 on the bottom, which is 3. Okay. When we divide these, that's 6 divided by 3, and you should get 2 as your answer. Okay. If you didn't do the cross division, okay, you would have 3/12 times 8/1, and you would just multiply across. 8 times 3 is 24, and then 12 times 1 is 12, and you would still get, because 24 divided by 12 is 2. You would get the same answer. Okay, so you can do it however you want, but cross dividing is easier to me, so that's how I do it. All right, email me if you guys have questions. The biggest thing is, remember, the first number, like 3/4, is not always going to go first. Okay, there is a problem on your homework where the second number goes first. So make sure you're paying attention to which fraction goes first.